And let's do the other paper.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do it that way. This one is called, it's the same story, but it's called 7 at One Blow. It's another title for the same story.
7 at 1 blow.
Correct.
7 at 1 blow.
Correct. Wow, it's got a lot of pages. One afternoon, a tailor sat sewing by his window. He heard a woman in the street crying, "Fine jelly to sell." "I'll buy some," the tailor called down. The woman lugged her jelly basket up the stairs. The tailor opened the jars so he could taste each one. "I'll take 1 teaspoon of blackberry jelly," the tailor finally said. The woman measured out the jelly and left, furious at having to lug her jars up the 6 flights of stairs to sell 1 teaspoon. But the tailor didn't care. He spread the jelly over a thick slice of bread and returned to his sewing. Nothing draws flies like jelly. Soon, all the flies in the neighborhood had gathered for a taste. Now, you'll have to take, if you want to play with those, you'll have to take them to the table. All those need to go back to the table.
Put it back over the table.
Well, you too.
The
Well,
flies are eating
Yes, they are.
bread.
No, you can't get up. You gotta get down with those. If you want, well, at the least, not up here. Take them up, put them on the floor. Put them on the floor. You can't have these up on the. Oh, come on. Just look. If you want to read the story, just sit up here and. Oh, come on. Nothing draws flies like. Come on. You have to stop that. Come on. Nothing draws flies like jelly. Check it out. Look, there's a piece of bread. Benjamin, all that. I want all those down. There's a piece of bread with a whole bunch of flies eating the jelly. Catherine, you want to check it out? Nothing draws. What? He didn't take you. He just touched your arm. What do you need to do?
I tried to show cakes to
Oh yeah, you should show her. You should show her the bread and jam. Hey Catherine, nothing draws flies like jelly. Want to see it? Nothing draws flies like jelly. Soon all the flies in the neighborhood had gathered for a taste. "Who invited you?" the tailor cried. He swatted the flies with a towel, leaving 7 lying dead in the jelly. 7 at 1 blow! What a feat! The world must know of this. The tailor embroidered his belt with bright gold letters. 7 at 1 blow. One who has killed 7 at 1 blow is far too grand to be a tailor, he decided, so he laid down his needle and set out into the world to seek his fortune. He carried a cheese in his pocket. Along the way, he found a wren caught in a thorn bush. The tailor put her in his pocket too, and continued on his way. Why don't you come check out this giant? Do you need to go to the bathroom or something? Good grief, do you need to go to the bathroom or something? Soon he came to a mountain, which turned out to be no mountain at all, but an enormous giant. "Good day to you," the tailor sang out. The giant raised his club. "Miserable creeper, I'll smash you. Read this first." The tailor opened his coat to reveal 7 at 1 blow. 7 at 1 blow? That could mean men or giants. The giant never suspected it meant flies. "Are you strong? Can you do this?" The giant squeezed a stone until water ran out. "Nothing is easier." The tailor took his cheese and squeezed it until the whey ran down his arm. "That was too easy," the giant said. He picked up another stone and hurled it high in the air. "Can you do that?" he asked the tailor. "Your stone fell back to earth," the tailor replied. "I will throw mine so high it will never return." He took the wren out of his pocket and threw her into the air. The little bird took wing and flew away. The frightened giant decided to make friends with the tailor, planning to kill him later. "You may spend the night in my cave if you help me carry some firewood," the giant said. The giant pulled a huge tree out of the ground. "Which end do you want to carry?" he asked the tailor. "I'll take the leaves and the branches. That's the most difficult part." The giant hoisted the tree onto his shoulders. The moment he turned around, the tailor swung himself into the branches so that the giant carried the whole tree and the tailor besides. The merry tailor began to sing, "A jolly tailor went a-rowing." The giant turned around. The tailor leaped down and pretended to hold up the branches. Is this load so light you can sing?" the giant asked. "It's not heavy at all," the tailor replied. On they went, the tailor whistling and singing as if the tree weighed no more than a handkerchief. The giant sweated and grunted with every step. He never suspected he was carrying the entire load. They reached the giant's cave after dark. The giant's brothers came out to greet them. "Who is this insect? We'll grind his bones," they growled at the tailor. "Take care, brothers," the giant whispered. "This little fellow has killed 7 at one blow." The tailor showed the giants his belt. Like their brother, they assumed that 7 at one blow meant men or giants. They never suspected the 7 were only flies. "It's time to sleep," the giant said. "Take my bed," the first giant told the tailor. The giants lay down and were soon snoring loud enough to shake the mountains. But the tailor couldn't sleep a wink. "This bed is hard as stones," he said to himself. He crawled into one of the giant's socks, which made a fine sleeping bag. The giants awoke at midnight. Taking iron bars, they smashed the bed where they thought the tailor lay. They battered it until nothing remained but splinters and mattress stuffing. "That's the end of him. 7 at one blow indeed." At dawn they discovered the tailor sitting in the wrecked bed, scratching himself all over. "This bed is full of fleas," he exclaimed. "They bit me from head to foot. I hardly slept a wink." The giants fled, leaving behind all their treasure, for they thought their savage blows meant no more to the tailor than a few flea bites. The tailor helped himself to a fine sword. Okay, we'll do that after this. A purse of gold coins and a knapsack of bread and mutton. Then he set off boldly on his way, for one who has killed 7 at one blow need not be afraid of anyone. Soon the tailor arrived at a kingdom ravaged by 2 ogres. The tailor came before the king and said, "What will you give me if I slay these ogres for you?" The king laughed. "These ogres have overcome my bravest knights. How can you hope to defeat them?" The tailor opened his coat. The king read, 7 at one blow. The king promised his daughter in marriage and the kingdom after his death if the tailor could kill the ogres. The tailor set out for the forest. He found the ogres sleeping beneath an oak tree. The tailor climbed the tree. Seating himself on a branch, he dropped an acorn on the first ogre's head. The ogre opened his eyes. "Keep your hands to yourself," he growled at his companion. "I didn't touch you," the second ogre protested. "Don't let it happen again," the first ogre warned him. The ogres went back to sleep. The tailor dropped another acorn on the second ogre's forehead. The ogre struck his companion on the nose. "How dare you hit me? You hit me first. You started it. No, you did." The enraged ogres uprooted trees. They battered each other until both lay dead. When the king's men arrived, they found the tailor sitting on a tree trunk with 2 dead ogres at his feet. The king was not pleased to see the tailor return. One who had killed 2 ogres and had slain 7 at one blow could be dangerous. What if he decided to seize the crown before the king was dead? Best to get rid of him, quietly and quickly. The king told the tailor, "I have another task for you. A ferocious unicorn is ravishing my kingdom. Can you capture him for me?" "One who has slain 7 at one blow is hardly afraid of a unicorn," the tailor replied. Taking a rope and an axe, he set out for the forest. The king watched him go, hoping he would never come back. The tailor strolled through the forest. Suddenly, he heard a roar. Looking around, he saw the unicorn coming straight at him. The tailor threw himself on the ground. The unicorn charged over him and ran his horn through a tree. "Don't be afraid, unicorn. I won't hurt you." The tailor spoke softly until the unicorn lost his fear. Then he tied the rope around the unicorn's neck, cut down the tree, and led the unicorn back to the king like a dog on a leash. This made the king more determined than ever to get rid of the tailor. He said to him, "A wild boar is devastating my kingdom. Capture him, and I will be forever in your debt." "You already are," the tailor warned. "We will celebrate the wedding when I return. If not, you will have to reckon with one who has killed 7 at one blow." The tailor returned to the forest. While passing near an abandoned chapel, he heard a great snorting and grunting. It was the wild boar. The boar charged at the tailor. The tailor ran as fast as he could, with the boar's tusks slashing at his heels. 6 times they ran around the chapel. On the 7th time, the tailor ran through the door and hopped out the window. The boar chased him inside, but he was too huge to fit through the window himself. The tailor ran around the door and slammed it shut. The king's men arrived to find the boar trapped inside the chapel. "He's quite harmless now. Do what you like with him," the tailor said. The king dared not delay the wedding this time. The tailor married the king's daughter and settled down to live happily ever after. Then, one night, the princess heard her new husband talking in his sleep. "Ho, boys, stitch me that waistcoat and hem me them trousers. Hem me those trousers, or I'll lay my yardstick around your shoulders." The princess recoiled with indignation. "He isn't a prince. He isn't even a nobleman. He's just a common tailor." The next morning she demanded to be released from her marriage. "Softly, softly," the king said. "We must handle this fellow with care. Tailor or not, he has killed 7 at one blow. Leave your door unlocked tonight. I will send my henchman to murder him in his sleep. You may marry whomever you like once he is dead." The king's page overheard these words. The boy admired the gallant tailor who had always treated him kindly. The page warned the tailor of the plot against him. "Don't worry about me," the tailor said. "One who has slain 7 at one blow is not afraid of anyone." That night the tailor pretended to sleep. The moment he heard the bedroom door creak open, he shouted in a loud voice, "Ho, boys, stitch me that waistcoat and hem me those trousers, or I'll lay my yardstick around your shoulders. I have slayed 7 at one blow, driven out 3 giants, killed 2 ogres, captured a unicorn and a savage boar. Why should I fear those cowards lurking in the hallway?" The king's henchmen took to their heels. The princess fled with them. So did the king. They ran away in the middle of the night and never returned. The king's former subjects chose the tailor to be their new king, reasoning that anyone who has slain 7 at one blow ought to make a good one. And indeed, he did.
Now I want to eat